Well, look at that. We're back at it. I was going to say song number 20. No, show number 20 of season 10. After a certain number of shows, you start to lose count. But no, we're keeping count and we're good. Thank you for checking into 90s Now. Kel, Adam, how are you?
We're great.
Warm and fuzzy. Warm and fuzzy. I'm also exhausted because of all the Janetness that's been going on.
There has been a lot of Janetness. You're right. And we're going to talk about that today, Kel.
Thank God.
Shock. Shock of all shocks. Imagine if we didn't. And then you're like, wait a minute, documentary much? We will get to that for sure. But we also have to get to the idea that one of the heroes of radio on TV has made it to the head of the class in the sky.
Oh,
I know. But it's a good life and a good story. So we'll talk about that. We've got a spicy tell-all to look forward to. Two superstars who happen to be real life friends will reunite on screen. Kelly's got some trivia for us. Adam and I are batting 1,000. I'm not sure how you guys are doing, but we are not doing well.
Nope. At
all. We'll all do just fine though with the 90s Rewind, which we'll get to. But yeah, the Janet documentary finally happened. And I say finally because of, someone like Kelly Alexander, who's been waiting for this to happen. And when we consider the fact that Janet Jackson has been or allowed cameras to follow her for 5 years, and we know what it's like to be with a Janet fan. Within that 5-year window, there was a few pretty big things that were supposed to happen, not the least of which was a tour. And who was expecting a pandemic? Nobody. But a lot of things got sidelined. So it's nice that within that 5-year window, we got a bunch of access to Janet Jackson. Kel, how did you love it? Did you love it?
First of all, do you love this?
Oh,
put it closer
nice
to the
cap.
screen. I can't see it.
Do you see that bad
That's
boy?
nice.
Love it. Janet Army. Hashtag Janet Army. Love
That's
it.
Sweet.
So
Does that make you an official part of the Rhythm Nation?
Yes, I'm not sure she knows it, but I do.
Nice.
I'm not sure she's given me her wings yet, but yes, it was delightful. And so many people just went bananas. Like, first of all, I don't know if you guys know this. I think Adam knows this because I just told him before we started recording, but she was trending so much on Twitter that they actually gave her own Rhythm Nation emoji on Twitter.
Ooh.
So if you typed in Janet, like hashtag Janet Jackson doc, up would pop her as Rhythm Nation girl.
See, that's the fun side of Twitter. Normally I'm mad at Twitter because it's so negative. There's a bunch of faceless negative people that say stupid stuff, but then that happens and I'm like, good.
Yeah, it was
I still
awesome.
don't like it.
Yeah. I was so happy to see that little thing, that little emoji. It was so great. So yeah, she was trending on Twitter after the doc aired. And I even believe after the first segment that came out on the Friday night, her music started to resurface at the top of the charts on like streaming charts like Spotify and Apple. And at one point, I believe she occupied like the top 5 album charts. And like it was bananas. And basically every celebrity that you could possibly think of was posting social media posts about her. Missy Elliott, Michelle Williams from Destiny's Child, Deborah Cox, like the list goes on. And so it was just so great. And it was great to see. My favorite part was the second part of the documentary, getting into like the tail end of the Rhythm Nation years, the Janet album, Velvet Rope, and then where she is now. And so, because there was just things I didn't know and footage I hadn't seen. And it was really great. And our very good friend, Tina Landon, made it in that second part of the documentary.
She did great. She was genuine. You didn't feel like there was any sort of like personal agenda. She was there to give her perspective. And she was a huge part of Janet's rise to dance superstardom and all those videos and the tours that went to accompany those albums during that time. But just to see her on screen, it was, you knew that what I took from it, I mean, I have an insight because of you, but watching it, she just seemed like a genuinely good person who, was there. Mm-hmm. And willing to still sort of be protective of her friend, but be honest at the same time. There was a couple other people that sort of seemed like less sincere.
Right.
Yet at the same time, they all love Janet. And that's the whole reason why they did it.
Mm-hmm.
But for Tina, I thought she did a really good job.
She did. I love her. And what was your overall take of the thing? Like, did you like seeing Janet's perspective? Because this is, she had to sign off on this. So,
well, what I liked is it felt like I was hanging out with her, you know, because she's good at being reserved. She's got, I mean, we know why she is as reserved as she is. She's grown up the way she has. So you have to find your own security in that realm. So you're not going to be like, hey, because someone's going to take that and wreck that. Right. Mm-hmm. So she seemed a little more open in that regard, in that she's looking right into the camera. And when she looked away, you knew there was an emotion attached to it. So it really felt like I was hanging out with her. And to compliment that, I mean, you're a diehard fan. There's no question about that. The soundtrack to like a section of my life includes a lot of Janet Jackson, just because of when the Control album came out, and then Rhythm Nation. It was just such a big part of my social life, and it was good. Like I was old enough to be going out, but still young enough to be interested in the impressive videos that she always put together. So I like the idea that my friend Janet Jackson was on the screen telling us a little bit about how she grew up and then continued to grow up. There were, like, I read that article about the revelations that came from this documentary. There were some things that I knew, mm-hmm. and I think that is just a combination of being interested as a fan and being my age, which is closer to her age. So I remember her on Good Times and thinking what a heavy storyline that was, because I was like, 10 or 11 or something. And I remember her on Different Strokes, and I remember that trajectory and her getting onto fame. And so I remember that. So she was like a preppy girl, and then she got into music her way. So to watch that whole process with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, that's cool too, to watch her sort of flex her own muscles and get into her own self to be able to create something on her own. Mm-hmm. What I thought was interesting was how they fully respect their father, obviously, and truly. Without him, they wouldn't have had they wouldn't be the empire they are. They certainly would have had the talent that they were born with, right? But there's a sort of protective element of really giving in to saying how they truly feel. Mm-hmm. And again, it's her story to tell, so she can decide what level of honesty she's going to give to this documentary. But to think that she would use the word tyrannical in a sentence that describes her father to make it seem like he wasn't one, I think is curious. And the way that Randy referred to when they were in the house, yep, in Gary, Indiana, when he was saying, your father did this, your father used to do this. I thought, well, wait a minute, he's your father too. Why are you calling him your father? So that was a bit curious. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that anything happens for nothing. So there had to be a reason why he was referred to as such. But I'm nitpicky too. Like, I'm totally like, why did they do that? The contrast of Control as an album, as her coming into herself, mm-hmm. contrasted with her actual life, which seemed to be controlled by the choices in men that she made, I thought was interesting too. Yeah. There was a lot I found interesting. I could just go on and on. Clearly.
I thought it was interesting that she came clean about, I never knew about the Coke thing, the Coca-Cola thing. I did not. Yeah. I thought that was really, I don't even know, like, courageous is too strong of a word for that, but knowing how much she loves Michael, the fact that because she's always protective of him, right? So to actually have to say, like, his situation screwed my situation in this particular instance, like, I thought that was very occasions. Yeah. Yeah.
I thought the other interesting thing about Michael was the when they described the recording of Scream, the video for Scream, mm-hmm. and that he was, my takeaway from that is he needed her.
Yes, very much so.
I say he used her. And that's, I think it's a strong word. It's her brother, and I'm not looking to hurt anybody's feelings, but looking at it in that, in how she described it, in that the record company, his people, whatever, created like a divide between where he was shooting his scenes and she was shooting her scenes. her perspective of wanting to do that was that, we could spend some time together. It's been a long time since we could spend some time, and his people were preventing that time. I thought was weird, but what he needed from her was that song to give him some pop credibility in a time where he was going through a lot.
She gave him
scrutiny.
massive street cred at that point.
And what did she get from it? I mean, it's her brother, so she would have done anything, no question. Yeah. But looking at it without emotion, it seemed to me that she was used. And I think she knows that to some degree.
Yeah.
But maybe she doesn't give it any thought,
yeah, but I think she even said she's still bothered by some of that situation. And I think that it must have been really difficult knowing that, because like that, the doc footage where they showed him and her just in his apartment writing the song, seemed very together.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's when his people get involved, then they convince him of things, or that they need to be separate or they need to do their own thing. And I'd heard stories for years now about how challenging that video shoot was, and that it was. And so when I heard about, him putting the curtains up, I already knew about that. I already knew that was like a really challenging situation. I knew it was challenging to get the choreography done because it was supposed to be done a certain way, but then it had to be done a different way to make him more comfortable. It was just, there was a lot going on. And so I know that when they won the MTV award for, I think it was best choreography for that dance video for Scream, like it was well earned. And I think Janet knew that like Tina and Sean Cheeseman, who were involved in it, like earned their stripes, and she earned her stripes just getting through it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting position as a fan of it to look at it in that way and think, like, I listen to Janet all day today.
Okay.
It was a big old dive into the deep end of Janet Jackson. And it's great because I felt like I was 20. But the reality of it is that they've not had an easy life. They've reaped great rewards. No question about that, but they've not had it easy.
Exactly.
And you can see that.
Yeah.
But what I do see, or one of my takeaways was that she has found her happiness, and her son might be the man that she was looking for or has been looking for. She may not find, a husband that'll stick, and she might not need one.
Yeah.
She might have been looking for a similar father figure, for lack of a textbook, different textbook reference, but maybe that's what she was getting, flawed men who on the outside seemed great. This is perfect, exactly what I want. But maybe it's a pattern, and she's now got this son that might be the perfect man for her. She doesn't need a husband, let's say.
Yeah. He makes her gleeful.
Clearly.
Yeah. So
yeah,
very happy for her.
Yeah. It was neat to watch. And I have a ton of questions too, that I think they missed a few opportunities, like, I don't know why Barry Bonds had to come on and refer to himself, like he was complimenting her, but complimented himself, which is typical of him. But I'm like, what are you doing here? You're a good ball player, but you had some help, like you're not guilt-free of how you got to be a great ball player, but whatever. But then he like compounds it by referring to himself as great. I thought, God, what are you doing here?
I was happy to see Missy Elliott.
Yes, she was. Yeah. And Mariah. And
Mariah was
Janelle Monáe. Come on.
Yeah. I love
She was
Mariah.
good.
So awesome. And even like, it was cool to see like Whoopi Goldberg in there, because I think that's somebody that Janet has had in her life forever.
Yep.
And so that was cool to see her too.
And interesting that they didn't mention the father of her son.
Yeah, that was actually a lot of online fodder was brought up around the fact that he wasn't mentioned. And I'm assuming it's probably for custody reasons.
Yeah, I can see that too. Like, you don't need to mention it. I mean, we all know,
Yeah.
But
yeah. And I'm just hoping that for her sake, they're in an amicable place, that they share custody of little man, and, that it seems to be working. So she probably wouldn't have wanted to inflame anything. And really, from my perspective as a fan, he didn't really play a part in her career at all. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
you're right. Yep.
A lot of the time when she was with him, it's like she took a break for a few years to go be with him in like other parts of the world. And that was like a break, like from like, I want to say 2011 to 2015. Like we really didn't see her too much.
Yeah.
And and that was her main time with him. So I think there wasn't probably much to say that wasn't just her relationship, which we have no business knowing unless she wanted to say it. So
exactly.
Mhm.
It wasn't necessary to hear. That's for sure. You're right. No impact on her. Well, I guess in a roundabout way, he had an impact on her performance because she didn't.
right.
Right. But in the big picture, anything that she established was pre him. So
Yeah, exactly.
What was I going to say? There was another thing I wanted to say about that.
While
And
you're
I don't-
thinking, I just want to show this hat again because it's
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
She saw me wear this, by the way, when I went to the concert. Oh my God, why am I forgetting the name of it, Sharon? In New York State, like the open theater place.
Oh,
You've been there.
SPAC.
Oh, Springs.
Saratoga
Right?
Performing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Saratoga Springs.
Saratoga, yeah. So
Yeah.
I had good seats and she saw me in the little hat. It was great.
So is this hat also older than I am?
No, this hat was actually, I made this hat specifically for that concert. So I guess I've had it since like 2017, maybe 2018.
Okay, not too bad.
Wow. How much does it cost to make a hat? One hat? Or
Did
did you give it to other people? Because that's kind of ironic if you only made one.
I did just make one.
And it says army of one.
I'm an army. Yeah, I'm the army. I think it was like, so the price of the hat, which was like $26 or whatever, and then probably another 10 or 12 for them to embroider it.
Nice.
It was worth it, Sharon.
Clearly.
Yeah.
You've got
And you know
the
what's funny?
only hat.
It's the only hat. I actually keep this like wrapped up, like it's wrapped up. So like no dust gets in it like this. And it's like, I never wear it except for like that Janet concert.
I
And
like how
because-
you're saying that to us as if we'd be surprised by that.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know if you
Mm.
noticed, but before, and I know we'll get to trivia, but my part of my ensemble today has something to do with one of our stories, which we have to get to. There's a connection piece.
I can't see it.
You can't?
Nope.
Does Sharon see it? There's a connection piece to the
So
sweater.
you're wearing a white and blue sweater.
Yep, but there's a connection piece.
There's a mountain on it.
No, that's
you need to have your eyes checked, man.
two ladies,
Not a
Adam.
mountain. There's
You
two
couldn't see
ladies.
the hat until she put it up to this. You need goggles,
It,
mister.
it looks like the Coors Light Mountain Rage from here.
Are you
No,
sure
that's-
you're as young as you would like to think? Or what?
This is a brand called Kappa, Adam. So maybe Google it so you can see the actual.
It's two
image.
women sitting back to back.
Yep.
Normally found on the mud flaps of 18 wheelers, but no, they're on Kelly's nice white cotton
I
hoodie.
see
Sharon,
now.
have you figured it out the connection yet, Sharon?
No.
Do I tell you or do I bring it up when you bring up that story?
I'm assuming it's going to be about the book that we're talking about.
Yep.
Then we'll get spicy and you can explain it in a bit.
Agreed. It'll be a quick explanation, but I thought it was very apropos today.
Well,
And I just really
Adam,
like
look
pointing
up
at my
apropos.
cleavage is really what's happening.
your
still
outfit
think it's
matches the
Mountain
hat though.
Rage.
Thank you. Oh, by the way, before we jump into trivia, just a quick shout out to Cece Peniston. I can't believe this, but she recently celebrated the 30th anniversary of Finally,
Interesting that you would bring that up.
which is bananas.
You're bananas.
Okay.
Maybe we're going to be talking about that during the 90s rewind.
Great. Great.
Ooh, that'll come up in a little bit. I think that we should probably get into some trivia.
Let's do it.
90s. Now, trivia.
Bing bong.
Bing bong.
So I'm not feeling confident for either of you, but we'll try.
Always
Awesome.
say that.
Thank you so much.
Here we go. In the magical game of Quidditch, players ride broomsticks and use 3 types of balls: the quaffle, the
Balls.
bludger, and what else?
Adam,
Sharon,
Oh, do you know? This is great. Who,
go Adam.
the
Go, Adam.
golden snitch.
Adam!
Thank you very
Do
much.
you know it too, Sharon?
I was going to say volley,
Okay.
like volleyball.
So this was in Harry Potter, I guess. I don't know. I didn't read. Is that?
It wasn't Harry Potter, and I'm so glad that was the one we were looking for because I had no idea of the 2 other types of balls. But I know about my golden snitch.
Well, congratulations, Adam. I don't-
Only you would know about your golden snitch, Adam.
It's the little golden thing that flies around, and whenever you catch it, the game ends, and it's worth 150 points.
Wow.
Adam, this is amazing news. All right, question number
It's
2.
important to know one's ball.
Yes, it is. What are the 3 instructions you would hear in an original game of Bop It?
Sharon.
And before you say what it is, the
I have to
answer
sing it
will
in my
be
head first.
Go,
What's that?
Sharon.
Before I say what it is, what?
It'll be an interesting answer when I tell you what these the answers are. Like if you don't get it, this will be interesting.
I think it's bop it, pull
And
it, twist it, flick it. I don't know, but what an addictive game that was. Was I close?
you got 2 out of 3,
Yeah,
Adam.
pull, twist, and
Oh wait, what did you say, Sharon? I heard 2 out of
Bop.
the 3.
Wasn't
Yeah,
it
bop.
it.
Yeah.
Bop, pull, twist.
Oh no, you
flick.
got it. You got it.
I love that game.
Bop it, twist it, and pull it.
Dangerously addictive because you're like, I'm gonna do it, and then you do it and you get like 5 and you're like, I'm better than this, and you're playing with kids and they're like, I'm gonna turn, just a minute, pull it, pull it, not your turn. Go make me some lunch, we're doing this. Oh my God.
Adam, did you know it?
when Sharon said it, I remembered. I would have not
Okay,
known
Very
otherwise.
good. I had not a clue, 0. So good for you guys.
It's
Look at
it's
us
fun.
in your face. We got both answers.
Yeah,
That's right. This
truly.
is like the first week in 19 that you've done.
And it's funny that you always refer to the cute little cards with the cute little trivia questions that we never get anymore. So I don't think they're cute at all.
Right. I'm going to let you go because I see that our time is winding. So go, Sharon.
Oh my gosh, really?
Oh yeah, we're under the 8
Oh,
minute
okay.
mark.
Well, let's start talking fast because the 2 superstars in real life friends that are getting back to making a movie together are George Clooney and Julia Roberts.
Mhm.
Which, I mean, seeing them on screen, there's something fun because A, they're really good at what they do, but because they're friends in real life, it's super cool. So it's a movie called Ticket to Paradise. It looks like we'll get it this year. I don't have exact dates, but it's fun that they've definitely got to the point in their careers where they don't necessarily have to audition for things anymore. And George Clooney saying that, speaking of a recent phone call he had with Julia Roberts, where he said, the minute I read it and I called Julia and I said, did you get this? And she said, yeah. And I said, are you going to do it? And she goes, are you going to do it? And I says, yeah, if you do it. And then he goes, so it's just one of those very lucky things. Yeah, I guess if you're George Clooney and Julia Roberts. So it's a rom-com, because I don't have time to say romantic comedy. And it's called Ticket to Paradise, and probably toward the end of this year is what I'm thinking. Maybe even the summertime. I'm making stuff up now because I know we're running out of time.
Okay, great.
Now, if we can pull in your hoodie one more time, let Adam know that it's not the Coors Light Mountains that we're going to be talking about, but the Spicy Tell-All book will be from Mel C. The book is called Who I Am, My Story. So that's good.
Yep.
And it'll cover everything from her days as our favorite sporty spice, her successful solo career, her experiences and challenges with mental health, and what she described as the difficulty of finding yourself when the whole world knows your name, which is undoubtedly a challenge. What I thought was interesting also, that when it came to talking a little bit more about mental health, she also said that she had everything she dreamt of and was desperately unhappy, because the quote was, it's often forgotten that people in the public eye are human. So we'll get her perspective on how she'll, what she said is reflect on the incredible career that she's had, the huge obstacles that she's managed to overcome. And then she managed to write it down and prove herself wrong, because she had originally said she wouldn't write a book or a memoir until she was in her 80s. And she's so not in her 80s.
Nope. It's like what, 48, I think?
Ish, yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to get the book in the fall.
Yeah.
What was the other thing I wanted to mention? Oh, yeah, we talked about, so bring in your hoodie. What's going on
just
there?
quick. So Mel C is has been seen, back in Spicy Town wearing Kappa. It was one of the brands she liked to
Aren't
wear.
you smart?
Yeah.
I think I dress for the occasion.
This. I feel like I actually bought this because I knew she liked that brand. Like I feel like I've had this sweater. Again, I keep it all nice and clean and like wrapped in the closet.
In plastic, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think I've had this since like 2004 or something. Yeah, I'm not joking.
Can you imagine if you got home from work or something and your better half had it on and be like, what are you doing? With my Kappa shirt and my Janet Army hat.
You
Is this
know,
a joke?
Buying it up. Like she's Elaine saw me in this recently, like the other, like, because when I got it out, and she's like, "We've been together for 7 years. I've never seen that thing like this." And I was
You're
like,
right.
keep your dirty paws off it, lady.
She's eating Doritos going, let me try it
Yeah.
on.
We have such a loving relationship.
I'm getting that warm and fuzz. We just want to pay tribute quickly to the man that brought one of the greatest radio DJ characters to television. And that's Howard Hessman, who played Dr. Johnny Fever on WKRP in Cincinnati from 78 to 82. And he's known for that role, but he spent as much time on a show in the later 80s called Head of the Class, where he was Mr. Moore. He taught gifted students. Robin Givens was one of those
That was
students.
a great show. I love that show.
Mhm.
He left in
Really
90,
smart.
right? He left in 90.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dog is telling me we're running out of time.
Yeah.
May Howard Hessman rest in peace. He was 81 years old. Now, our 90s rewind, 1992, around this time in 1992, Prince took two great things and made them even better. What are they? Diamonds and pearls, right? Speaking of two, MC Hammer was too legit to quit. He did the slice of the neck, quit, right? Too legit to quit. But he also had two songs in the top 20 around this time in 1992. And the other was from a movie soundtrack. Hint, hint. It was a TV show that they turned into a movie. Anybody?
No.
You know, I don't know.
You know, I don't even know. The Addams Family movie. So it was the Addams Groove that was also in the top 20.
I should have known that.
You
Always
should have.
guess with your own name to every question.
You're right. How about you two's Mysterious Ways? It's such a staple now that we're used to it, but it was new back in 92. Kind of like the first time we got to hear our girl Cece Peniston when she was enjoying her success with the first single top 10. Finally, imagine that. Yes, look at him go.
Adam was negative 2 years old at that point.
And then he finally was born.
Yeah.
That is your 90s rewind.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you,
You
Sharona.
guys. My gosh, I feel like I'm out of breath. And look, we have like a minute to spare. So what are you guys going to do now?
Yeah. Dream about Janet. By the way, I think Janet is supposed to be announcing, like, she hasn't done it yet, but there is an album on ice somewhere called Black Diamond.
Ooh. Oh yeah, she
Actually-
mentioned that.
Yeah, and then I believe a tour will come. But the one thing that scared me is, like, she seemed to be announcing her retirement, and like I did not take kindly to that.
That
So
will come one day.
no, she's gonna keep going right into her.
You're gonna
80s,
get
like
it.
the Stones.
You keep talking like that, Adam. She's gonna karate chop your butt.
I'll find you, Adam.
You don't
Anyways,
know.
that's enough. But thank you. I appreciate all of your efforts.
Thank you guys, and thanks for finding us wherever it is that you do. We appreciate that you're listening and that you're having fun along with us for the ride. And thank you for listening to 90s Now. Still happening.